It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News. Several things have happened that have changed my plans a little bit. Number one, as you can tell, I'm out at the horse farm, which I had planned on doing the show from here today. However, I was going to do it outside overlooking the pool. It's a nice deck area overlooking the pool. And last night we had a massive storm that hit here, 50-mile-an-hour winds, heavy rain, lightning. And basically this place got trashed. So Danielle would kill me if I was doing a live broadcast at her pool she had two big, massive potted plants that went in the pool. A couple other plants were turned over out on the pool deck. Then all kinds of debris from the trees and crap around and leaves in the pool. So anyway, and you can imagine how muddy the pool got from all that dirt. But it looks pretty awful. So she's got the pool guy. Sent him a message early this morning for him to come today and work on the pool, getting that part of it straightened out. And then on the deck right near where I was going to be broadcasting from, there were like 40 potted plants, tomato plants and other vegetable plants in a big container garden she has going. They're all trashed. It was just awful. So I got a lot of cleaning up mess to do. So one thing, if you could tell, somebody might already have, I want to check and see if you guys can hear me, because I have no equipment. I can't test anything. Tom says good morning. Gretchen says good morning. Bonnie's with us. Tom, hi, Bonnie and Gretchen. Okay, somebody stick a comment in. Can you hear me and see me? Nikki's with us. All right, so everybody's here, so I'm assuming sound is fine. Thanks, Tom. Okay, so anyway, I was planning on being outside a nice sunny day overlooking the pool, that isn't going to happen. The reason that I have basically no equipment with me other than my laptop and my small camera, I didn't want to totally dismantle the studio at home because we've got a pretty important show tomorrow on Cruises for Solos, Cruise Amigos show on Sunday at 3:00. And basically I'm going to go into the back home to do that. So I'm doing it from my studio. But tomorrow, in case you have been in a fog all week and haven't paid any attention to it, we've got just an awesome guest tomorrow. Sue Bryant, who is a big-time major travel writer, has done just amazing stuff over the years. Like, for instance, that's Sue in one of the red jackets down there. And I think that one's in Greenland on a recent trip to Greenland. But this is going to be a great show tomorrow. So I'll be back in the studio for that tomorrow and then come back out here to the horse farm to feed everybody tomorrow night and Monday morning. And I'll be moving back home on Monday. So also, I'm in the house with the three dogs and a cat, and they are not used to me talking unless I'm talking to them. So I'm able to get a dog's nose stuck in here. There's one on each side of me down here on the floor. So they follow me around constantly. All right, so let's get to the whole purpose of being here. If you're new to this channel, folks, this isn't the normal thing, but we do travel and cruise industry news on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. Feel free to subscribe to this channel if you want to keep up with the news that we try to bring you each day, and then the latest in cruise ships, ports of call cruises themselves, when we get back to going normal. I've been working some on the website while I've been out here the last couple of days, and tripped across one this morning that I've got to go looking for now. The MSC Harmonia was supposed to go to Tampa and start sailing from Tampa, and all of a sudden that's disappeared from the website. So I got to go do some research and see if that was just a clerical error or if they made a major change that I don't know about. But anyway, the lead story this morning, folks, and this one was a shocker when it came across the wires this morning. Aruba is now officially open for travelers from the U.S. And I thought, what? Are they out of their minds? I mean, I realize that there's a lot of places in the world that are beginning to open and beginning to welcome travelers, but it sure wouldn't be travelers from the U.S. With the situation we're in. But anyway, the Dutch Caribbean island of Aruba officially reopened for U.S. travelers on the 10th. That would have been yesterday, following a July 1st reopening for Canadian and European travelers. So they're now open for business. However, there are some stipulations. In light of the recent COVID-19 spikes in certain U.S. states, Aruba said it would be requiring travelers residing in 24 of those states to upload proof of a negative PCR test within 72 hours prior to departure as part of a required online embarkation disembarkation form that you must fill out. So the 24 states, if you want to go to Aruba for a nice little holiday and vacation, these 24 states, you have to have proof of a negative test within, how many, what was it, 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours of arrival in Aruba. And the states are Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Iowa, Kansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Nevada, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. So you got to have a test if you're from any of those states. I can't say that I blame these folks at all until we get a handle on the health in this country and we get leadership to guide us through this and get us some kind of a plan of attack to try to stem the flow of this. I cannot believe that anybody would want hot dog. The dogs are barking. Somebody must be outside, so I forget. Sorry about that, folks. Not much I can control about that. That might be the mailman or something. They all bark like hell. So anyway, that's the first story. You know, they're open for business, but there's some massive stipulations. Of course, there's a lot of places in the world, including most of Europe, that just will not accept Americans right now. But we just keep going along, and people keep complaining about wearing masks and doing anything to stem the tide of this mess. So it's not going to be changing anytime soon, folks. It just keeps getting worse and worse in this country. And until we start doing things right, according to the scientists and according to the health department, the health officials, instead of listening to politicians, we're going to be in a terrible mess in this country. All right, a couple other stories to cover this morning. You probably saw this yesterday. Royal Caribbean has purchased the remaining shares of SilverSea Cruises, who was a pioneer in the ultra luxury and expedition cruising market. this one kind of surprised me. The first part of the purchase was in 2018, but that's taken even though it was in stock options, it wasn't cash. Still, it's not a very good time for a major investment by anybody. But Royal Caribbean, again, probably because it was stock and not cash, they have completed the 100% of the sale of purchasing the SilverSea. So, a little bit surprised at that myself. Okay, we've talked about a bazillion times about Carnival. And, at first there was that they're going to sell 6 ships. And there's been wild speculation about the 6 ships. Well, we know now of 2 of them that have been announced. But now they announced yesterday that they're now going to sell 13 ships from their fleet. Only 5 of 9 new cruise ships will be delivered by the end of fiscal 2021. So they had ordered 9 new ones, and they're only going to get 5 new ones. So there's going to be some major changes in what Carnival's doing. But the main thing is on the sale of the ships, they're now going to divest themselves of a total of 13 ships. And we still don't know what 11 of the 13 are, because they have not announced that yet. Again, there's wild speculation as to what they are. However, they have said that the schedules will be adjusted to the ones that they know that are sold within the next 90 days. So you can expect some news coming out of Carnival on the ships that they're sailing pretty soon. For my friends over there in Europe, they've had the basically the British government came out and said that they don't recommend cruise ship travel the other day, and that's got everybody in a panic, and rightly so. I think it was very poorly timed and poorly thought out position by those folks. But there's still plans. People are going ahead with plans over there. Like they said, nothing. Now, this doesn't directly from Great Britain, but German-based TUI Cruises has announced a return to operation towards the end of July with cruises to nowhere, but they're still cruises. So basically what they're going to do is they're going to sail out of Hamburg. That's up in the northern part of Germany. They're going to sail out of Hamburg, go out in the water, sail around for 3, 4, 5 days, and come back to Hamburg. They're not going to stop any place. Again, because of the situation with COVID, and ports of call just don't want ships to come in there. So, of course, TUI's going through all the usual protocols for the health situation and the improvements and all that kind of thing. But anyway, I don't know what to make of this, folks. It looks like you guys in Europe, there's several companies over there that's going to go ahead with stuff that you guys can at least get started on a limited basis now. Better, in fact, than we're going to be in this country. Although I haven't heard any further word from our friends down at Bahamas Paradise as to whether they're going to be able to go or not go. Again, with the situation in Florida, I don't know. Okay, you guys quit fighting over there. Hey, dudes, the dogs, Lucy, Dooley, y'all quit wrestling. Couple dogs fighting in the background. You don't find that on all the travel and cruise industry news shows in the world. So, Well, let's see. What else do we have here this morning? The weather situation. Hey, listen, guys, cut that out. Lay down. Lay down and be good. Going nuts here. Of course, most of you know that the tropical storm moved up the coast. Did it become a tropical storm? So it was named. And it's up there in New York now. But it brought a lot of rain and storming all the way up the East Coast yesterday, mostly. Probably the storms that rolled through here last night was the kind of the back end of it. Although this came through here, it was very much like a derecho. I mean, a straight line, this massive storm. It was a pretty brutal storm last night. But anyway, so that's going to, float around and go out to sea here the next day or two. You're not going to hear much more. So maybe a little more rain up in Canada, but nothing bad from that. Kind of the interesting one was on Christina. We did a story several days ago that it looked like hurricane or tropical storm Christina out there in the Pacific was going to be the first hurricane of the season. For 3 days now, it's had sustained winds up to 70 miles an hour. The problem is, to become a hurricane, it has to be 74 miles an hour. And it's never gone over that hump. So now it's moved on, getting into waters that are much cooler. So the likelihood of it intensifying that last little bit to become a hurricane is probably not going to happen. I mean, it could happen today, but beyond today, it's probably not. So we're not going to have our first hurricane of the season after all. So, all right, let's go check on some comments this morning. We went through everybody. I was down here where Tom said this sound was fine. Gretchen says it's okay. Nikki said loud and clear. How far is the horse farm from your farm? I'm actually on the opposite side of Lynchburg from my place. My place is in Bedford County in Forest. And I'm on the opposite side of Lynchburg. So it's about a 20-minute drive, 25-minute drive, and through town and then out in the country, because this is out a pretty good ways. But it's a lovely place. I'm just sorry that we couldn't do this outside, because it would have been really nice. So maybe another time. Some of you may remember I was out here a lot last year. Of course, Amanda was gone a lot, and I was running her business for her. So I spent a lot of time here last year. But this year with Amanda's business, just literally has been nothing. She's totally running it completely, so I didn't have to do anything with her. This is the first weekend I've technically worked since this whole thing started. And it's nice to give me a chance to get out of the house, safely get out of the house. Bonnie says she loved the Frenchies. Yeah, I've got 2 Frenchies and a black shepherd are the 3 dogs here. And then, of course, I got the ladies, the ponies, which I've had to go down. One of them's been rolling around in the mud. So I'll have to worry about cleaning her up later on today, too. And Gretchen says, yeah, she loves Frenchies, too. She's got one. Emily's here. Good morning, Emily. She says, good morning to everybody. Gretchen says mandatory mask in her county now. Yeah, I just heard mandatory masks in the state of Kentucky starting today. Listen, folks, I hope you guys will quit complaining about that and just bite the bullet. Wear the masks. It should be mandatory everywhere. It should be a national policy right now. If you're out in public, wear a mask. Let's do it for 90 days. My goodness, get it done. I mean, if for 90 days and we get this thing turned around. But all right, so Bonnie says she loves Aruba. Yeah, I love Aruba too. And with it opening now, folks, I mean, there's a lot of thought of people like me that cruise 99% of the time, going to resorts to get a vacation. I mean, it's close. If you go to an all-inclusive resort, it's almost like a cruise, except you're not on the water. So, there's Pete. Hi, Pete. Pete's from over there in London. Of course, he talks funny. We'll be with Pete tomorrow on our stuff. I'm so excited. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow, folks. 3:00 tomorrow afternoon. I don't think I told you the time, with Sue Bryant. This is going to be another really, really good show. And I'm totally amazed at how good the shows are that the three of us co-host, Pete with Cruises for Solos, and John Reitmeyer from up there in Minnesota, and me. And we've just had fabulous guests. So if you're not watching that on Sundays, you need to. I'm working on a way that it not only will be live on their channels, but I'm trying to get it so it'll be live on my channels as well. So we're working on that. So Emily says Maine too. They also require testing and 2-week quarantine. Bonnie says it's scary in Florida. Yes, Bonnie, it sure is scary in Florida. And that's, again, to me, that's one of the things that's going to affect our cruising. The CDC is just not going to give green lights to anything where people have to travel to Florida. I don't think. So Bonnie says she's staying at home. Yeah, I don't blame you. And again, I'm not at home right now. Well, first time other than doctor's appointments. However, it's almost like I'm at home, as I've lived here off and on several times with Danielle traveling and stuff. So taking care of her herd. So yeah, I'm not going out and like eating in restaurants and stuff like that. I'm doing the same thing I did at home. I'll pick up, go through a drive through and like that, or I'm fixing stuff here. So Emily says she's supposed to go to Maine for a week, but too much quarantine back and forth, so it's not worth the trip. Yeah, it's probably a good thought, Emily, for now. I'm just not sure about the safety of any travel. Now, I saw some friends of mine are leaving this morning to go to the beach, and I'm thinking, wow, you're running a big risk. So Bonnie says, how was the wine? Emily's been known to sip on a glass of wine when we have our cocktail parties. The masks are helping, Emily says. I wish everyone else would listen. The first bottle of wine was awesome, Emily says. That's good to know. She had a Chardonnay, and it too was very good. Bonnie says 8 of cruises too, 5 days at sea and a round trip Germany. Yeah, I did see that. I just the two I came across this morning, and I thought I'd stick that in. But you're right about 8. I did see that a couple of days ago. Emily says we got a lot of rain yesterday. Yes, you did. That was that lovely tropical system. By the time it got to you, it wasn't a tropical storm anymore. But anyway. Bonnie says no tropical storms in Florida. Yeah, isn't that odd that Florida hasn't been hit at all with that this year? So, because maybe that's because Tom's down there. Tom's down there and keeps the storms away. So, Anyway, just sliding through these comments. Oh, Amy's came. Amy, you're late today. That's terrible. But at least you're here. Glad you're here, Amy. And of course, Nikki's here to also. If I didn't say that before, I think I did. But anyway, all right, guys, that's going to wrap me up today. Again, sorry about the background noise from these couple wild animals in the house here. They do a lot of romping and playing. And again, I will be back in the studio tomorrow for the London show with Sue Bryant. And then, of course, I'll be back at home for the next show on Tuesday. Anything major happens between now and then, I'll go live again, as I always do, to keep you guys posted on everything. So that's at least my plan of attack. Who knows? Anything's liable to change again. All right, that wraps me up for today, guys. Stay safe, stay healthy. Y'all have a good time. Stay at home, wear your masks. Be careful. Beyond anything, stay healthy. All right, this is Chillie, the Fat Travel Guy. I'll see you guys tomorrow in London.
Thank you for watching today's travel and cruise industry news. Join us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern for another episode. Travel and Cruise Industry News is a production of Chillie's Cruises.